Hello, welcome to the video. It's been a while. I've had a lot of real life stuff kicking off, so I'm getting back into the videos with another Pi case. Yep, that's right. This one is another one for the Raspberry Pi 5. I really like these cases, and SUNFOUNDER was generous enough to send me one. So yeah, we're going to look at it. I've got a Raspberry Pi 5 2 gig here, ready to rock and roll, and I'm going to open it and have a look at it. So here we go. Let's see what we've got. So in much the same vein as the PIRONMAN 5 Max, we've got some pieces. Oh right, okay. So this is how it comes. Some assembly required. Doesn't look too bad, as you can see. This is much more simplified, this one. So this is the PIRONMAN 5 Mini. And it's all on one piece of paper. So let's have a look. Just like the other cases, it's all nicely surrounded by padding, and look at that. Okay, unlike the other cases, it's one big lump of metal. That's a bit of a surprise. Screwdriver. Here we go. Well, look at that. So, the main body is not two-piece anymore. They've already fitted light conducting plastic in the place there, so that's good. Access for everything. It's all one piece. Very nice. There's no messing around there. Okay, so we've got two side panels, and that's it. That's all there is to this one. So all you've got to do is peel this stuff off, and you're ready to rock and roll. So let's have a look. What we've got here. Okay, so you've got some quite long pogo pins there, so got to be careful of them. Got another coin cell for the real-time clock. Very nice. There's your GPIO extension, and again we've got the NVMe slot, which is excellent. I mean, if you've ever used a Raspberry Pi and you whack one of these in, it really does speed it up by a big chunk. Excellent. These are RGB LEDs. Very nice. And again, if we undo this, here we go, everything's labelled. There's no ambiguity here. I mean, everything is labelled what you need to follow the instructions. That. Nice. Nice. Okay. This looks like it's going to be a very easy build. Now, this fan component looks very, very similar to the official fan, which I've probably got here. Yeah. So here we have a Raspberry Pi 5 with the official fan, and this is a very similar sort of deal. Excellent. Now, in a previous video of mine, I tested the cooling capacity of these, and it's very, very good. So I've got no issues at all thinking this is going to be more than man enough. So we've got heatsink and fan. That looks like an LED fan. Nice. Everyone loves an LED. And we've got some spare parts. They even ship you a coin cell. Some rubber feet. And of course, stuff for the CPU. What have we got in here? Ah, look. Excellent. These are the light transmitters. The LEDs to come through the case. Very nice. Finally, we've got a couple of small ribbons and power switch, which is also metal. Nice and clicky. Nice positive action. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to build this up on camera and then trim it as I need for the video. So I'm not going to actually do the entire build live. I'll edit that down because for as long as it takes. So the first step is to take your Pi, and they want to make sure that you get the heatsink and fan fitted. So as you can see here, it's a case of putting the standoffs in place and your thermal pads, and then you can pop on your active cooler. Oh, that's something to watch out for. So access to the fan header, which is here, is going to be a little bit tricky after you get the standoff in place. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pop off the little cover ready like that to expose the pins right there, and then we're going to have a look at this. So these two are something you'll be very familiar with if you use CPU coolers. They're a spring-loaded attachment mechanism. So generally you just push them through, he says. That is there, very stiff. It's a miracle I found the other one, because that pinged off out of my hand. So be careful with that. There we go. So once you push them through, as you can see, there's a barb, and then once it's in place like that, you're all good. So right, let's see what we got CPU gunk wise. So according to this, that's the arrangement. Now these have got padding on both sides, so you want to take one side off or the other, and one side's going to be easier to come off. It's going to be thicker generally. So yeah, that's the thin side. I recommend using the thin side first, getting it in place, because once it's in place it's going to be easier to use the thick side to peel off in situ, as it were. So let's have a look here. When you pick it up you can feel it. One side will be stiffer than the other. You'll soon know. So this side should be the thin side, and it is. And that will go on there. Try and just give it a little bit of pressure. There we go. They certainly haven't scrimped with the thermal pads, which is good. I like the way they're covering all four chips. Now, there we go. We'll pop that in place. Excellent. So they're all in place like that. So the next thing to do is get our standoffs. And it says here, according to the instructions, 4 of these go in the bottom, which are 2.5 times 6 plus 5. And these are 2.5 by 20s. So why is that by 6 plus 5? Okay. 5 of these. Let's just have a look at the size in here. Make sure they're all the same. And they certainly seem to be. Excellent. So we're going to take 4 of those, plonk them down there, stick the other one back in there, and then we need all 4 of these. Nice. So this should be nice and simple now. We just pop that through the bottom, take our stand off, and just spin it on. Boom, 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 boom. Don't need to monkey fist it. Just needs a little bit of pressure and it should be okay. Excellent. There we go. Now here, like I said, there's going to be a little bit of an issue getting that on. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel the other side of these off now without lifting the pads. So that's the hard plastic side. And it is important that you peel both sides, because if you don't, you're going to have some pretty poor thermal performance, you know. And this one, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. Come on. Because it's such a small piece of... There we go. So use something to manipulate it into place. There we go. There, perfect. So let's just put that on the diamond like that. Come on, round you go. Perfecto. And then all we need to do now is fit this in place. So now, according to this, it's going to go this way round, as you can see here. So the heat sink is going to go towards this side, and then we're going to push it down. Here we go. One side. Second side. Make sure it goes all the way through, and then the barbs can push back on the spring, so you get a nice bit of pressure holding it down. Clearly though, that's only going to get some thermal. Yeah, it's only going to get some sort of heat removal there. Don't think that's really a problem, to be fair. And then we're just going to pop the fan header on like that and tuck it down like that. Now, to miss the GPIO, I would try and route the cable through the fan like that. You don't want to nip it later on. So then we'll just pop that in there like so. And as you can see, there's not a lot of room left, so we'll just spin that on now. Excellent. Now, I have one of these that I keep around. So, right here. So what I can do is I can grip these with a pair of pliers, take this and then just go like that. And it's just to give it a little bit of tension. Like I said, you don't have to monkey fist it, just a little bit of tension. Like so. Okay, so what we've got then is the first two parts done. And what have we got next here? So it looks like this needs the cable, the ribbon, to fit. Now, according to this, there's also a small connection cable to go between the top and bottom, right next to where the pogo pins are going to go. And that will be into here. So let's have a look at the what they call FPC cable. There we go. And on here, that will go into here like so. So it's just finding out which way round the cable goes. Now on these you can usually flip that up, which means the gold tabs go down. It's a little bit tricky. So it slides in, you'll feel it, and then you just push it down like that. Okay. Now on here, the pie, it lifts up, you slot it in, and then you push the retainer down. So let's have a look. Okay, as you can see here, it's showing you that the gold pins on the cable are going to be facing towards the heatsink. Now let's lift that up, and as you can see they are. So you literally offer it in, he says this is, there we go, pull it down to lock it, perfect, and that's like that. So let's put that down like that. And we take this connector, popped in there like so. So what we do is we then flip this over, make sure that the pogo pins go in the right way and they're not bent, and then we're going to come round the back of them. Now we're going to route the cable in the middle here as it shows you on the picture, which is not what we have. So let's just do that. There we go. Now there we have it. Push down on the pins, make sure the pogos are in place. Nice. And then it shows you that it's going to go into the right hand connector socket, so you're going to have to pop the lid off that. There we go. And that will flip over and plug in like so. There we go. So at this point we're up to there. Okay. It's saying to put in a SSD, which is what I'm going to do. Oh, hang on a second. Right. It's saying we need to put our SSD in before we place it in the case. which is fair enough, but I haven't flashed mine. Okay. Right, so I've nearly finished that part. However, we're going to put the screws in to hold it together. Which is a very good idea considering we've got pogo pins. So let's just make sure they're in position. They absolutely are. And then we just pop these in. There we go. Nice. That's all snug and together. Pogo pins are in the right place. Yeah. Nothing's moved. Everything's plugged in. All good. Nice little cutout there for the cable as well. So if we pull that round a bit, it will indeed sit flush in that groove that's been made for it in the PCB. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the computer to sort itself out, basically I've got an image that's too big for the card I want to use, so I'm sure we've all been there. Anyway, while I'm waiting for that to download the files for a shrinking program, let's carry on with the build. So first thing I'm going to do here is look at the instructions and skip them. So I'll do this a little bit out of sequence now. So here, got some very nice little indents. There's no ambiguity here, you just peel off the sticky cover rather, and then press it in place. Simple. We'll do that to all four. It's peel off the stuff on the panels. I've already done this. There we go. So where we have the case, let's see, that will go in that way, so that'll be offset that way, so therefore fan's got to go this side. There we go, and it says that the cable's on the bottom. Now which way round? That way. There we go. So all we need to do now is get the 3.5 per 10s, all these, and then just put that through the plastic and then do them up. Here we go. Oh, that's a bit tight, that, so be careful on that one. There you go. Again, don't need to monkey fist it. However, what I am going to recommend is you make sure that they're fully done up, because the last thing you want is the fan to start rattling. These bite into the plastic quite well, so there we go. Nice. There we go. Excellent. So it's 2 side panels done. I think the light pipes are on here, but that's not really a problem because they've already been installed. Excellent. So next thing then is the switch. Now I just want to check that I can get that in. Yeah, that's nice. in and out. With the switch in place. Just feed that through. And then back through there like that. Just make sure you don't cross thread it. Now, there's a rubber retaining ring on here. I would certainly recommend not over tightening it, because that will splay out and it will look horrible. There we go. And then it's a case of getting the pie unit in, which just goes like that simply, and then screwing in 4 screws and then getting the SSD in, then putting the sides on, which is simple. So excellent. Let's have a look here. So for the fan, that just goes in there and then that screws on like that. Job's a good one. Okay, so the sides have got to come off if you're going to take this out. Right, so I really cannot get any further now until I flush my card. Excellent. So I'll come back in a bit. Right, so here we are back again. This beast here is what's caused me all the grief. This is out of a 64 gig out of a Steam Deck, so I flashed it with the operating system I want, which will be, if this all works okay, that'll be the subject of another video. So anyway, let's get this together. So in here we've got so we've got standoffs and screws. So I'm going to fix a standoff to, stop being cack-handed here. So I'm going to fix a standoff to the far section there, because the smallest and biggest are by far the most common SSDs. So I'm going to fix one to there, one to there. There we go, nice. So what I'm going to do now is just, again, give it a nip. Again, no monkey fisting. And then I'm going to get the SSD in here. Really hope it works, because I had to butcher the image. Don't you hate it when you get an image that you need flashing for a Pi, and it's just a little bit too big for your device, be it an SD card or an SSD? So when that happens, what do? I mean, I just tried a thing called ibex, which is not very intuitive, I've got to tell you. And then I fired up Ubuntu in a virtual machine just so that I could run a Pi shrink script. Get that right. So, and being what I've put on here is a Debian image. That's going to be, well, 50-50 whether it boots up. There we go. So I've put that in there. That's all together. Very nice. So to get this in, we can just put it around the right way. That might help. There we go. So we put it in there. Put it in there. And then we need to put some screws in the bottom. So what we've got left here, these are going to be for the sides, no doubt, 2.5 by 4s. So for underneath, that's going to be, according to the instructions, 2.5 by 4s. Excellent. So let's just swap them out. So we need 4 of those to match the 4 standoffs. It's not rocket science. Of course, everything lines up perfectly. I like the way they're recessed as well. It's quite a nice little touch. There we go. Now when you're doing this, rather than try and screw it straight in and cross thread it, if it's not sitting right, back it off and then go in, and then it will go in perfectly. So that's that. So the power button needs to go on this unused header here. So you take the cover off again, and then it's probably, yeah, I'm probably not getting it in frame properly on the video, but there we go. So yeah, so the power header goes on this one. Make sure that's in, it's all sitting nicely. Right, and then we've got the side. So this is the side I made up earlier, and that's going to go on this header here. So quite simply, let's just pop that in there like so, and then pop it in, and it's recessed, which is quite nice. That's what 2.5x6 is. And then we can just whop them in, no issue at all here. Oh, straight in, very nice. Again, especially being perspex, no monkey fisting. If it doesn't feel right when you start to do it up, just go backwards on yourself, the opposite direction. My thumb's alright. There we go. Now, as with the other PIRONMAN builds, there's spare parts. Got some spares left over, and that is a really good addition. There's nothing worse than, you know, you're trying to knock something up and bang, you lose a screw that goes into the far side of infinity and you've got no spares. And there we go. There it is. So let's get this out of the way. Now that looks lovely. It's a nice looking machine. It's got fingerprints all over it. But I quite like the simplicity of it. I really do. Now, if you want something that goes under your TV for better, I mean, look at it. I'm not a big bloke, and that's how big it is. If you want something that goes under your TV with like Better Sarah, or, you know, Xbox Media Center or something like that, this is perfect. It's not intrusive, really isn't. But let me get the others and we'll have a look at the differences. So here we have the PIRONMAN 5 backs that I made on video. And here's the original PIRONMAN. So there we go. Well, they're all PIRONMAN 5, I should say. I think the first one was 4, I believe. But I really like these cases. I really do. This one and this one have been great already. And this is slightly smaller. It's a much easier build. And it's perfect for anywhere on your desk, under the telly. It's just a nice little box. You know, it's a nice size. Yeah, it's good. So let me just move these out of the way again. So here you can see, you know, it's a substantial bit of metalwork. Look at the size of that. It's about 3mm thick. We've got easy access to the SD card. The whole thing is nice and easy to put together, and it's fast. So, what a great case. I just thought I'd cut in with this before I go and say that I've had a little bit of trouble getting this to boot. One of the things before we get to that is here you can see with the power on, the light pipes work really well. Unfortunately, yeah, the SSD I chose to use, which was a 64 gig one out of a Steam Deck, that won't boot. It doesn't like it at all. So yeah, I've had to get one of these, NetHack or NetHack or whatever you want to call it, but these are cheapest chips off Amazon, and I'm going to load up PiMega on it and boot from that. So yeah, luckily it's really simple. I've only got to take the side off, change it, job's good. So yeah, before I go, I'm just going to say thank you to Martin from SUNFOUNDER for supplying me this. Brilliant. This is another good case, one I highly recommend, just like the other the SUNFOUNDER cases for the Pis. The PIRONMAN 5 Max and the PIRONMAN 5, they've both been brilliant, and I've used them a fair bit. I've had no issues with them at all. The other thing to point out about this is it uses the standard ports. So I don't think I mentioned that as I was doing the video. It's not really a problem nowadays, as everyone's got a micro HDMI cable or a converter like I use. Especially if you're going to have a Pi, you're going to have one of those, and realistically. So yeah, no big deal. Yeah, great case. I'm going to drop this video there, and I'm going to say don't forget to check out my compadres. There's a Discord group that I'm linked to in this video. There's people like Retro4U, 8-Bit Retro Refix, TimsRetroCorner, and a whole load of other people. And sorry if I don't mention everyone, but come along and have a look. There's a lot of people in there, and it's a nice chilled out sort of chat, and we all have a laugh, talk about retro and other stuff, and some quite random stuff as well. So yeah, pop on by and have a look. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. PiMega. Later.